Welcome to the Home League Show, where we celebrate the foundation of fantasy football, the home league experience, and all the fun this great game offers.
Fantasy football isn't just about winning championships. It's about connection, creativity, and the stories that bring your league to life. If I could be talking to anyone about bringing a league to life, I am very fortunate that I get to do this show with Kevin Murray. Kevin, why are home leagues so important to you?
Well, for me, like personally, the experience is, my home league is my friends and family that I've, done life with for as long as I can remember, right? My home league is people from elementary school, junior high, high school, college, and family members, right? So the ability to stay connected, and play this game together, but be in each other's lives because of this great game is really why I love fantasy so much, and why I think the home league is so important.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to like my first home league draft with like there was like I think it was like an 8-man league at Miller's Ale House, which is like a sports bar, and just us sitting around a table. And those 8 people, we look at it now. We have our holiday party. There's like 30 of us with all the kids that it's expanded to, and we've expanded to a 12-team league and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's like a connective tissue that has just kept us all together. Is our Golden Gnome Fantasy Football League. So yeah, I
I
completely
love it.
agree
I
with you.
mean, yeah, I mean every rivalry, every draft day experience, all the inside jokes. I mean, that's what makes like the real magic of fantasy. Fantasies, it can be a cruel game, right? Like you can have a great team, you can have a terrible schedule where your opponents are scoring high points every week. You can have, you could, like my home team right now. I mean, I got so many injuries. My team has been decimated. Am I still having fun? I'm still having fun because of the group of the people, in that home league.
Yeah, I've got some turds. Can I say turd? Should
Yeah.
we say that on the very first episode? Yeah, I've got
We
some
get
turds this year, but like the people that are in the leagues is what keeps me in there. I'm not bailing on any of them. I'm definitely staying for all the grits and glory. So yeah, having a good time this year. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that the fantasy home league experience really is, it's that connection, right? So we want to, with this show, we want to offer a place for people to get inspired, to figure out ways to elevate their league experience. For me, you know, I think with fantasy, we got to focus on the fun elements of it because that's what keeps people together. There's going to be apathy. There's going to be, people that are getting bored with the league or disinterested or maybe interested in other leagues they're competing well in. I think there's ways that you can create and construct a league that really make it the focus of the managers in the league, and that's what we want to do. We want to provide a place for inspiration. We want to share stories. We want to celebrate this great game. That's what this show will be all about.
100%. And I know that you and I mean, you wrote a book on it. I have not wrote a book. I've just kind of rode your coattails on the show. No, I'm kidding. No, but we've both experienced a lot of this stuff, and we've had a great time with it. But one of the things when we were talking about doing the show, Kevin, we've been talking about doing this for like 2 years now. I remember walking down, what's the name of that Las Vegas Boulevard in Las Vegas,
Yes.
and you first said it to me. But your practice was still going on at the time, and so for this like 2 years in the making, that we've wanted to do a show that's focused on the home league, on commissioners, on community, on everything, and it's finally happening. I'm excited, but we don't want it to just be us. This is one thing we said. We want our viewers to be part of the show as well, with submitting ideas, sending us questions. This is a very collaborative, community-based show for sure.
Yeah, and it's also part of like Joe Bryant's passion, right? Like
Mhm.
Joe, as a founder of Football Guys, he loves draft local. He loves home leagues. He loves the game that that brings people together. It's something that where we go back a couple years of talking about this. I remember 2021, so 2021 at the Fantasy Football Expo. I was there. I had a booth. I had a couple of my buddies from Seattle that came out to me or came out with me, and it was the end of the show, the end of the expo, and Joe Bryant came walking around the corner, and I said, "Hey guys, that's Joe Bryant from Football Guys. I'm just gonna go talk to him, right?" So I went up and introduced myself, and we immediately, I kind of said I was Commissioner of the Year at one point, and that just got him, super excited. He said, "Wow, I've been really wanting to do more commissioner content. It's kind of it's everything that Football Guys is about. It's what we want to to bring to our customers and consumers, and let's talk more. And so that kind of led to us talking more in the off season, and me coming aboard Football Guys. So it goes back several years. Bringing a show like this to Football Guys, it's fun, and I'm super excited to do this.
Yeah, and I'm excited to do it with you and at Football Guys. Like I think if our subscribers are watching that have been a Football Guys subscriber for a year, 10 years, 20 years, you know how important that home league is to not just Joe but our entire staff. So yeah, I'm so pumped for this, Kevin.
So what is a home league, right? What is it like? Let's start there. I think for me, a home league it's the league you care about the most, right? It's the one where you're most connected to. It can be local, it can be non-local. Ideally, let's draft local and get together, and experience this game in the best form. But a home league, it's the league you care about the most. It's the one you're most connected to. Most often it is the friends, the family, the
Mhm.
colleagues, the league that you're most involved in, maybe the league you've played in the longest. For you, what is the definition of a home league?
I think you nailed a lot of it. And I love that you said that like a home league doesn't need to be like completely in person. There's that old phrase like home is kind of where the heart is. And I think of my main home league, the one that I care about the most. It's funny, we don't even have league dues. There's no money that's involved. It's just a trophy of a gnome. Like, and I would give up every fantasy championship I have to win this one home league. But I think of that home league, and we've had two instances of actually three of our members going off to serve in the military overseas. And that was something that kept us connected. In Germany and Afghanistan, we've gone through that together as a group where our league members have been apart from their families. And that's where our families would step up, help each other out. So the league goes even further from what's happening on Sundays and goes actually into the homes. So yeah, like the home league to me is so much more than just on Sunday. It's the people you create, the people you're there with, building relationships, and honestly, kind of a family with.
Yeah, I think that what you said about not playing for money, like that's a great indicator. Like if you get a league that you care about winning more than any other league, but you have other leagues that there might be more money or
Yeah.
this or that. Like that's a good indicator that that's your home league. That's the one that matters because for me as a commissioner, that's what I want. I want to celebrate the fantasy experience and the league at our draft, at our award ceremonies in a way that makes everybody want that moment to experience that moment. When we'll shoot a confetti cannon, we'll have a room full of people shooting confetti cannons at our champion, right? I want the
Beautiful.
people competing in that league to want that moment more than anything. So that's part of what drives me, right? I want to make a league that people care about more than any other league, no matter what the cost is, no matter what the winnings are. It's the pride of winning that league.
Yeah, we traded money for basically championship speeches, and they basically just had to roast the league. Um, Thank goodness none of them have been recorded, because I don't know if I would be employed by Football Guys anymore with some of the
I
things I've
love
said.
it.
But I've only won the league one time. League's been going almost 20 years now, and believe me, this is another thing about great about home leagues is your buddies will razz you like no one else. Working in the industry and only winning your home league one time in 18 years, that's rough. That's a rough hang, Kevin. That's
I
really,
thought
really rough.
it is. I talk to a lot of people in this industry, and that's kind of the thing that always, everyone always has is like, I have not won my home league enough, right? And I'm trying to prove that I know what I'm doing. And so, yeah, home league is where the heart is. It's where the passion for this great game is. And I think if you look at the industry, people creating content, you think about people out there, in the business or in the community, really involved, it all comes back to falling in love with the game. And when you fell in love with the game, it was most likely a home league experience. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at. I think that's what this show is about. It's about celebrating this game, every fun aspect of it. It's about, you know, creating ideas, bringing ideas to the table, inspiring people, in every element of this great game. There's so many ways we can talk about it. We can create a million podcasts on this topic. And I think over time, people will really enjoy it because in the end, I think if more people are playing fantasy and having fun playing fantasy, this world is going to be a better place because people are going to be more connected. They're going to, experience the culture that fantasy provides. And I think it's great. That's why I love this game so much.
Me too. I mean, it's given me like I would probably have never got to meet you, Kevin, had we not both play fantasy football. And that's the true story of anybody I've met in this industry. I was a guy that like I found my friend group when I was 16. And those are my friends throughout life. And then not until I joined this industry did I start developing new relationships and new friendships. And it was through fantasy football. So, yeah.
Yeah, the community is amazing. I love that you're doing this show with me. I think you're a natural fit. I think it's the right fit because you're funny, right? You're funny, you're creative, and those are like two components that fit so great in a fantasy league. I think that what you'll be able to come up with ideas and inspiration for others. I think it's just a natural fit. So I'm thrilled, as an ambassador for football guys, you're an ambassador for fantasy football and for the community
Uh,
and everything great about it.
I appreciate that. And like we are going to talk a lot about commissioning on this show to give you guys all kinds of incredible like commissioner tips, like, league punishments, award ceremonies and everything. And Kevin, you're the shining example. You were commissioner of the year through ESPN, correct?
Yes, once upon a time, it was a pretty big moment for me. Like, and it really kind of shifted how I focused on fantasy and in the community and discovering it. There's a long story with that, but yeah, that's kind of the foundation of me finding this community and this industry beyond just loving the game. I
The,
played since 1995. I've been playing fantasy, and it wasn't until like 2015 or 16 where I discovered there's this whole world out there of content creation and that kind of stuff. So I love this game, and the Commissioner of the Year thing was just such a fun story for me, blessing experience for me. Kind of getting to go to ESPN and go on the Sports Center desk and all that kind of stuff. It was a dream come true. From my childhood, just being obsessed with Sports Center and ESPN and all that. That's definitely part of my story and why I'm here.
I mean, the first time I met you, you had the red jacket on, which has not made an appearance in a long time. Like I've not seen you wear it. You've kind of come up with some pretty creative jackets outside of that, but that's that's been great. So,
Yeah, I mean the red jacket. That was, if anybody doesn't know, that was a gift from ESPN, a custom blazer, along with a whole bunch of other stuff with that award. But it was a ton of fun, and to me the league, again, my home league was everything in the fantasy world to me, and to be able to get that honor, it is just a reflection of them and what they mean to me, really. So that was fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and something I have great memories for or with. Yeah.
perfect. Would you say, because we're kind of introducing the show through this first episode to everyone that's going to be watching, like one of the, if you've been to the Football Guys retreat, have you ever heard Joe Bryan, our president, speak? Um, he talks about the hero's journey and how we are just a guide on your journey to winning a championship. This show, like in my mind, is kind of like a guide to help people just make their home leagues better. Would you say that's probably a good comparison?
It's exactly it. I think through innovation and intention, from a commissioner, the show is not just for commissioners; it's for everybody who loves
Mhm.
this game, because we want people to bring ideas to their commissioners, right? We want people to be inspired and say, "Oh wow, this league is doing this league's doing that. Like, what can we do to top that or replicate that in our own league?" So this show is for everybody. But yeah, I think that as a commissioner, definitely the guide for their league and for the fantasy experience that people get to have. And I think it's so important to understand that commissioner role is vital for leading the group, for getting people inspired and excited about the game. The commissioner has so much control over everyone else's experience, and I think it's important to take that role seriously. And again, with this kind of show and this kind of content, you're going to get a lot of ideas and inspiration to elevate your league. And again, if you're not a commissioner, bring these ideas to other commissioners out there, and help them elevate their leagues so people can experience the best that fantasy has.
I think we've seen something happen where the Waffle House challenge became very popular,
Mhm.
where that got a lot of focus, and then everybody started doing their kind of versions of the Waffle House challenge. Kevin, like a mission statement for me, like first episode, what I want to do is I want to give all of our audience, all of our viewers, our commissioners, our league members, people going out to speak to them, like I want to have 10,000 Waffle House challenges. of ideas that people can bring into their leagues, inject into them to make them more fun, more engaging. Because that, especially this time of year, when I'm not going to say that I don't have any 4 and 5 or 3 and 6 teams, because I do. Like I might be a pro, but we go through the bumps just like anybody else. But having those things to keep us engaged is something we're going to bring to you as well. So there's so much we're going to do. I can't wait to do it all. Once again, just happy to be
Yeah.
here with you, man.
Well, and we want to see it too. We want this to
Yes.
be to foster a community of people to just love this great game, sharing ideas. So, if you're doing fun things in your leagues, if you're recording your live drafts, if you're recording your punishments, if you're recording your the way that you determine draft order, we want to see that stuff. We want to share it. We want to share it with others. So this is definitely a place where we're going to come together with great ideas. We're all going to get inspired, and we're going to really enjoy this great game and see it elevated across the country and across the world.
I completely agree. So if you had to, let's say, set the stage of like what this show is going to bring us, like on a point by point basis, like what could you see us bringing in the next, let's say, few weeks, and maybe even down the road a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting time to launch a show, but it's also it's the right time to launch a show. This is the
Agreed.
time of the year where people are losing interest. This is the time of the year where the apathy sets in. This is where time of the year where injuries have accumulated and people are not happy, right? But commissioners still have a chance to make a difference and to bring people together so that everybody can experience the final run, the final stretch run of the season, so everybody can have fun during the playoffs or the toilet bowl, tournament, and really kind of salvage the season. And I will say this: we really want to inspire people for next season, right? So
Mhm.
the season is going right now. There's a lot of things you can't change. There's definitely things you can implement that will make a big difference on your league, but we want you to be prepared and armed and ready to go for next season. We want that planning to start now. Start jotting down ideas. Start getting it's inspired about creating a league that is just your dream, essentially, like your dream league. It's possible. Takes time, it takes intention, it takes some dedication, but also takes education and in information, right? If you don't know about ways to make a league better, you're probably handicapped when it comes to how much your league can get better. But if you
Yep.
open your mind up, open yourself up to content like this, there's a good chance you can create a league next season that just blows every league member's mind. And like you said, so with this, this time of year, we got engagement. Like that's the topic we got to talk about. So episode 2, we're going to talk about ways to get your league engaged, to keep your league engaged. That's vital. I think following that, entertainment is huge. I think that entertainment in a fantasy league that promotes engagement. There's a lot of different ways you can entertain your league. I think that's a huge part of engagement. A league that wakes up on a Tuesday because there's a newsletter being dropped or because there's a
Yeah.
YouTube video being dropped on a Wednesday and everybody tunes in, like that's what you want. You want a league that is waiting for the next thing to drop, right? Whether it's entertainment, funny, or something competitive. There's so many ways to do it. So I think obviously entertainment and engagement go hand in hand, but these are topics we can definitely hit on the next couple weeks that will be huge for your season. Obviously, we got to talk about trades and collusion. It's the time of year where trade deadlines are hitting. We got to talk about that kind of stuff because there's definitely ways to to prevent collusion in a fantasy league.
Mhm.
If not this year season, there's things you can put together for next season. And we got to talk
Absolutely.
about awards, right? This is the end of the season. End of the season means we know who's got the most points, the most regular season wins. We know who's in last place. But there's so many like creative awards that you can present to league members, just certificates or
Mhm.
digital badges that make people happy, like that just provide fun for a league. There's also one of my favorite things about entertaining a league is it's a great way to trash talk. It's a great way to
Yeah.
poke, right? And that's such a fun part of fantasy. If the commissioner or if leagues are voting on awards and people are getting awards that are that are fun or shame inducing, like that's all fun. Like let's
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff. So let's talk about awards. Let's talk about punishments, and then let's talk about how to navigate the off season coming up in constructing a league of your dreams. That's
Absolutely.
what I see coming up the next few weeks.
Yeah. And all those points you hit on as you were talking about it, I was just thinking, back to my first like league championship ceremony there wasn't a lot of glitz and glamour to it. We just handed a trophy off, and it didn't feel right for our league because we were all, my background I was in theater all through high school and a little bit of college. Like, and so we're like, oh, well, we got to do this up next year. So the next year we had a big league ceremony. We introduced awards. You mentioned, awards that don't go necessarily to points or who the champion is. We have the Ali Award. There's the best trash talker. And then we've
There you
got the
go.
Tom Hanks Award, who goes to the nicest guy in the league. Whoever was the nicest person all year gets an autographed photo of Tom Hanks. Believe it or not, I've never won the Tom Hanks Award, and it's like a point of contention because I lean because the Ali Award has a robe, and I just want to wear the robe. The robe's very nice. It says Ali on the back. It's pretty snazzy.
I mean, that's what it's all about, right? And that's the
Yep.
kind of stuff that for me as a commissioner over the years, I want to hear about that kind of stuff because I've heard stuff, from here or there, for years, and I've implemented them into my league, and it's made the league more fun, more excited. I think one of the best parts of my early, commissioning days, especially when we brought the whole league local and live drafts, was the league not knowing what I'm going to do next year, right? And unveiling the draft room and them not knowing like, okay, what's new, I think that's a great way to kind of stay ahead of the league, become remain the main focus of all those league members when it comes to playing fantasy. It's the league people are talking about, and for me,
Absolutely.
I want people talking about my league because I want other people in my league to inspire other commissioners to elevate the game. Because again, it comes down to the connections. It comes down to, just appreciating the foundation of this game, why it's so special, keeping people together. And that's where, culture of a fantasy league is so important. And for you, obviously you're a community guy. You definitely understand culture. What does that mean to you when it comes to like the culture of a fantasy league?
Oh, I see. I think the culture of the league matches the league. I think if you are, like I mentioned, my group of friends, we're all theater people, so it's very over the top. It gets outlandish. But, some guys, if you have a league that's, let's say, very focused on just what's going on the field, there's no better way to inject culture into that league. Hey, let's go rent out a sweet box now that the Ravens are doing that in Baltimore. Let's go rent out for our draft and draft in the stadium. And that's something the Ravens just introduced this year. And I've already seen like 6 other teams jumping on board to do that next year. That's something you could do. That's just like a very stats focused league, a league that's very focused on what's going on in the field. So culture for me, when it comes to a league, it's got to match the people that are there.
Yeah, and the commissioner needs to identify what that culture is or build the culture that they want. Somehow
Absolutely.
you need to know what that culture is because like you said, that's a great point. Not all leagues are fun and joking and poking fun. And that's great. I love that fantasy for that.
Mm-hmm.
Some leagues are just diehard competition. So
Yep.
fuel that competition with weekly games and whatnot. Like fuel the competition. Never laugh. Be dead set
Yeah.
on competition. But there's ways to make a league more engaging and more competitive. So do those things. Recognize what your league is, or build a league what you want it to be, and then foster that, fuel that, and you're going to get the most out of this great game.
Awesome. I completely agree. So I think what I would want coming from here, because I said this is not the Kevin and Joey show. Although I did suggest maybe we have that on the graphic, and I think it is there.
I love it.
I didn't really say that. Actually, I fought against having my name on the graphic because I felt weird about it. But then everyone's like, it's not so bad. Dave and Alfredo have their name on stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I guess they do. But no, so what I think I would want to do is the listeners to send us like best league traditions and stories for the future that you've had going on to engage your league a little bit more. What are you doing to engage your league? We want to know what's going on in your leagues there, because once again, not the Kevin and Joey show. You guys are a huge part of this, and we're happy that you're here with us on this like journey, really.
Yeah, and we want you to send mail. Like this little, I got a little mailbox. Send us your mail, right?
Right,
we got
no, we were bringing props.
Call the hotline. Like call us, send us audio clips of what's going on in your league, right? If you need us to settle stuff, like if you need us to settle problems, we'll be the judge. Like we'll help you enjoy this fantasy experience. If your league members need a penalty flag thrown on, like, let's do it. Like, we are here for you. We want to help make this game great. We want to grow this game. We want more people to play fantasy and more people to get the most out of it. So yeah, so bring it on. I think, again, Joey said, the show is about Joey's humor and about you, the listener and the viewer.
All right, so I want to give some context to those who are listening. Let's say you're driving your car, you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
Kevin brought out a gavel, a penalty flag, a red telephone to call in, and what was the other thing you brought up? There was something. Oh, you brought a
the mailbox. Footballguys mailbox.
Move over, Carrot Top. Kevin Murray is now the best prop comedian in the industry or in the world.
I love it. I love it. Cool. So I think that's pretty much what we got going on for this episode of the Home League Show. We're super excited about helping fantasy leagues raise the bar. One draft, one tradition, one connection at a time. Whether you're a commissioner, a league veteran, or a rookie who just joined the home league for the first time, remember, great leagues aren't built overnight. They're intentionally crafted with care, creativity, and a lot of community.
And I think that's why we're here, to be your guide, to share ideas, to inspire your next move, and to help you build a league that doesn't just last, but thrives. So take what you've heard today, bring it back to your crew, and make your league better than ever. Raise the bar, have some fun, and most of all, keep the spirit of connection and community alive. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like and subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with your league mates. You can find more tools, strategies, and resources at footballguys.com, where the goal is simple: help you win and make fantasy football more meaningful.
Until next time, stay engaged, stay creative, and keep the heart of fantasy football beating very strongly. This has been the Home League Show, your guide to help your league be better and for you to enjoy this game as much as you possibly can.